Ready? All right. So let's regular meeting to order. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item B, recording of the roll. It's my understanding that Commissioner Tower cannot be with us tonight due to work duties. We have a motion to excuse Commissioner Tower.
I'll make a motion to excuse Commissioner Tower.
I'll second that. Motion by Commissioner Seaman, second by Commissioner Shackelford to excuse Commissioner Tower from tonight's meeting. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Recording the roll.
All present except for Commissioner Tower, who has an excused absence.
Item C, approval of the consent agenda. Anything you need to know or needs to be changed?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Shackelford, second by Commissioner Fair to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Kayer.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item D, approval of the agenda. Any changes you need to be aware of?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Shackelford to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda. A 3-minute limit, please. And if you are able, please approach the podium and state your name.
Steve Frank. I just have one question on item I. This is the design and construction of the salt storage building up to OSHA standards. Is it in compliance with all OSHA standards?
And possibly discuss that.
Yes or no?
Anybody else? Item F, audience, Dave Anderson of Monarch Resources, this court. Update on the property project.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Dave Anderson. I'm Director of Health Safety, Environment, and Growth Relations for Banner Resource U.S. Corp. We're the company that's attempting to build a proposed copper silver mine north of Wakefield. Wanted to stop in and give you a quick update on what's going on with the project, and I'll be very brief, and if you have any questions, I'll certainly answer questions. The project, of course, was initiated in 2008. For the past 3 years, we've been drilling and delineating the ore body, verifying that there's in fact a viable resource there, and we've also been pursuing permits. To date, we've received all necessary primary environmental permits, so we're in a position to finalize construction drawings, finalize bid packages, and release those bid packages. That will take up the majority of our work for this year, hopefully being able to release bid packages at the end of the year, provided that financing and board approval is obtained. And those two items are not in place at this time. So I want to caution folks to not be overly optimistic and expect that construction will start anytime soon. So there's still more planning to be done and still additional economic issues to resolve. There will be additional building permits necessary, of course. There will be some additional infrastructure issues that will have to take place. Those primarily involve power line, which is an extension of the XL energy line from Nori, the existing 88 kV line. That will be upgraded to 115 kV line. That line will run to Ramsey and then north down Blackjack Road, not Highway 519 or nearby. The water supply is currently proposed to come from the GRWA from the existing Chicago High water source. The only other additional permits deal with on-site explosive storage and fuel tanks and those things that will only be necessary after construction is initiated. I did want to speak about one of the more important permits, our wetland and stream permits that we recently received. As part of the mitigation for that, we've had two really good partnerships that I want to talk about quickly. One is with the Ottawa National Forest. We went to the Ottawa and asked them to identify some streams, rivers in the areas that were in need of restoration work. Partnered with them and found what they considered to be one of their most important stream restoration projects they had on the Ottawa. So we'll be performing that work for them on 2 Mile Creek in Ontonagon County on the Ontonagon River watershed. We'll also be preserving an 810-acre forested wetland. That'll be part of a wetland preserve. That area will be preserved in perpetuity. It's a well-known deer yard near the Moseley Trade. It's currently county forest, and that land will be preserved in perpetuity, and the county will pay the county in exchange for doing so. The only other things I would mention is that while we finished with environmental permitting, we still have OSHA and MSHA issues to work out for as far as construction compliance and mining compliance, so we'll be working on those issues this year. We'll also be working on the severance tax, which is a new tax that was enacted by Michigan last year. We'll be participating in the administrative rule process. That will be important for local communities to be involved. The distribution of revenue from the mine, of course, will come to Wakefield Township and Ironwood Township respectively in the county. And it's important to us to make sure that those tax revenues are generated and distributed fairly. And with that, I'd answer any questions. Thanks for your time.
Do you have a projected open date or just to be removed right now?
I do not have a projected open date.
You can characterize the results of your ore body survey at all, or is that information you want to hang on to?
All of the information about the ore body, the grade, the tonnage is all available on site because we're a Canadian mining company. We have to have full disclosure of all that information. You can find that on Organa.com, or there's a government regulated site called SADAR.com, which is located in Canada. But under Canadian law, all reserves have to be verified by a third party. So I couldn't drill a hole and tell you there was 20 grams a ton per gold in this ore without having it verified. So all of our mineral reserves are third-party verified. I can tell you that our copper grade ranges between 1% and 3%, generally speaking, but I think it averages at about 1.4%. There is a small amount of silver. That silver will report to the copper concentrate that we produce on the site. It represents about 30 million tons of ore.
So I guess the question is, you did find what you needed to find.
Economically speaking, there's a viable deposit, and we can call it ore in the sense that we have a mineralized formation. We really don't get to call it ore until we know that it has a value and that it can be extracted economically. I think at this point it's safe to say that that question has been answered. The project will cost an estimated $220 million to construct. That's just capital expenditure for construction. Obviously millions to operate over a lifetime, expected 13 to 15 years, 15 to 20 years for complete reclamation and closure. I would just say one more thing about reclamation and closure because of our history and our past here. The days of abandoned waste rock piles and infrastructure left behind are gone. We have a very stringent responsibility to restore that site to the condition it is in today. Provided if something were to happen, if the company fails to do that, and the state of Michigan holds the bond that we pay upfront in the amount, right, and I estimate it's around $34 million. So we have to remove all mining infrastructure, fully restore the site. When you go to the site in 50 years, I hope it's a reclaimed mine site, or of course maybe it'll look the way it does today simply because we never built it, but regardless, the site will have to be restored fully under Michigan law.
Well, I know that everybody in this whole area has voted for you guys. The city of Ironwood, I'm sure, will be happy to help in any way that we can.
I know we've had some discussions with some of your staff about some of the potential economic development opportunities here. I won't discuss those in detail, but we are looking at some of the things that the city of Ironwood is offering, and we're strongly considering those, and we'll talk to the about that also, and we'll continue to pursue that. It's certainly been a welcome approach to us, and we'd like to certainly keep some business here in the city up.
Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Item G, audience, Paul Garfield, Eagle Scout. Discuss Eagle Scout project at Murray Park.
Hello, I'm Paul Garfield. I am with Troop 323 Boy Scouts, and I'm currently working on my Eagle project. Testing, testing, testing.
Yep, I think we're out now, so thanks.
Okay. Thank you. As I stated, I'm working on my Eagle Scout project. Now, I don't know if anyone goes walking out in the park, but if you ever go at the back end where the lake is, you can see that some of the trails have been worn down from constant use, and that can cause not only erosion, how it also makes it unsafe to be used by the people there. The idea is to put down new wood chips in order to make sure that it's safer and stop erosion in the area. I do have some photos here. I do have some photos here to show you and to basically show that how this will work, how they've eroded. I have to continue on. I also have some wood chips that are being supplied by a friend of the Boy Scouts that will help us in making sure that it is safe and that wildlife there the nature there can be preserved. We also have the manpower to do it, and I honestly hope you guys will approve so everything goes all right. Thank you very much.
Are you looking to do all of the trails in the back area?
Yeah, because as I stated, people use that thing constantly, and all the trails would be better than having like one area done.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to do something, you might as well do it right.
Those are beautiful trails, and I think that would be a good project.
Yeah. You know, there's something I did that's not related to the project itself, but I did notice. When we were at the rest area, I noticed that some of the porches had been taken out and that the map in that area had been taken down. I was hoping also try to get that area cleaned up, put in some new benches, maybe put in new maps, something like that.
Paul, when are you thinking of getting going on this?
The main idea is to do it during the spring when all the snow and that's gone and where it's nice slushy. That way the chips won't slide around and get stuck.
Commissioners, any more questions for?
If there's any more questions, I would be happy to answer.
I guess one thing that you might want to consider, and I don't know if you've done this already, is to talk to our Parks and Rec committee about your project as well.
Originally, I was going to, but as I found out that I wouldn't need their support exactly, I'm still thinking of doing it, but in all honesty, they're basically an extension of you guys, so why just go straight to the top?
Well, I just won't do it if you did. I just like
Yeah, I think they might have some good ideas for you or some help for you as well.
All right.
What would you need from us tonight, then, just our approval?
Yeah, I just need the approval, and that should do it.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we approve Paul Garthwaite's project pending review by Parks and Rec.
All right.
I second that.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Shackelford, to approve Garthwaite Eagle Scout project on Murray Park pending the Park and Rec approval.
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, it takes us to new business, item H. Discuss and consider resolution 013-011, electing to comply with the provisions of Public Act 152 of 2011 by exercising the city's right to exempt itself from the requirements of the Act for Medical Benefit Plan year July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2014.
Thank you. With the new state regulations, City Commission is required to act on this on an annual basis. They look at this yearly. Last year, the city did choose to opt out. That is one acceptable option for you to consider. And that's what we did do last year. And that's fully in compliance and allows us to also comply with the EDIP regulations. There are various options for you. It's, to opt out, you can apply a hard cap. You can apply 80-20 cost sharing for benefits, that type of thing. With that, we are into a 3-year contract with our bargaining units. We did negotiate with them last go around to bring it further in compliance with some of these criteria, but we're not, at that point yet, we still have 2 years into our contract to have those discussions again with the bargaining units. So, if there's any questions on this, or
Is there any possible penalty for doing this?
there would be no penalty for opt-out. That's an acceptable option, and there's no penalty applied if you choose that option.
And there is no benefit that I can see whatsoever to opting in at this point in time. We have 2 contracts and.
Right. We have 2 contracts, 2 more years of those contracts.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 013-001.
Support. Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Mayor Corcoran to approve resolution 013-011 as noted in item H. Any further discussion or concerns?
And I guess I'd just like to clarify for myself, by approving this resolution, we are opting out officially.
Correct.
Further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Stamo?
Yes.
Shackelford?
Yes.
Sayer?
Yes.
Yes. Item I, discuss and consider change order number 4, request for a time extension, April 30th, 2013, for the completion of the overhead door on the salt storage building.
Again, this is a project, the self-storage shed is actually constructed. Under a change order, a door was added to the self-storage barn to keep the elements out and keep the material protected. We are requesting a change order to April 30th. With that said, the project is essentially being completed or complete, Jason, at this point?
There is a NEMA 4 cabinet that needs to go over the motor, but other than that, it's completed.
Okay, so a little bit of work yet to be done. This should be fully complete by April 30th. They're hoping to get done a little sooner, but with all the bad weather, it just kind of held them off on finalizing the project. So we are recommending the extension to April 30th. And relative to the OSHA standards, I'm not familiar with the issue or thought on that. We're not aware of the OSHA issue out there, but if it's a concern, that could be working.
Jason, do you have any information on OSHA standards as far as the store is concerned?
As far as the door, no, we did follow the OSHA guidelines in the building construction with the dome court.
I'll make a motion, we approve the change order described in item I.
I second that.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Shackelford to approve change order number 4 as noted in item I. Is there any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J, discuss and consider declaring 3 DPW trucks as surplus property and authorizing advertisement to bid.
And through the city process, this does come to the city commission. If you authorize going forward, we will go out for bids for these 3 vehicles. The city did purchase 3 new vehicles, and these would be the 3 that are being replaced. So we go out to competitive bids. There has been a minimum bid set by mechanic to look at the vehicles and what we felt their minimum value was. Of course, hopefully we'll get more than that. This would be a minimum bid that if someone did want to bid on these vehicles. And with your authorization, we go forward, obtain bids, and then bring them back to the city commission at a future meeting.
I'll make a motion that we declare the vehicles described in item I as surplus property and authorize the advertisement to bid.
Second that?
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Shackelford to declare 3 DPW trucks as surplus property and authorize advertising to bid. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item K, discuss and consider declaring obsolete city computer equipment surplus and requesting credit to be destroyed.
And then through the city disposal process, we do bring to the city commission. They take a look at this and determine that there is no value to the computer equipment that's in surplus, and would recommend that be brought to the transfer station for proper disposal. And there is a list of what the equipment is in your packet.
I'll make a motion, we declare the computer equipment described in item K as surplus and request that it be destroyed.
Second that?
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Shackelford to declare obsolete city computer equipment surplus and requesting equipment to be destroyed. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item L, discuss and consider authorizing advertisement to bid for 20 fire hydrants.
Again, on an annual basis, the city has taken the approach to go through systematically and replace a lot of the old fire hydrants in the community. A lot of those have been replaced and been very successful in that area. Again, we still have some more that do need to be replaced, and we would like to go out to bid and for 20 fire hydrants, and we bring those bids back to the city commission with hopefully competitive bids, and that will be our inventory for this next summer to start replacing other strategic hydrants throughout town.
How close are we getting to having them done?
We started a survey and then winter hit.
What's that?
We started a survey and then winter hit. We were going through the updated list with Coleman Engineering with the phase 1 and phase 2. I'll give you a better answer on the snow melts, but like Scott said, we're doing it strategically. We're not going to hit the ones on the highway because that's going to be part of phase 3 for the phase 2 project. But got feeling 50, but that's just a...
We'll bring back a better number. We know pretty handle. We get a big
Yeah.
number of unworkable hydrants in town. And we should, when we bring this back to you with a recommendation award, we'll have a number for you. Let you know where we're at 50.
Yeah.
We've come a long way over the last few years.
That was one of our winter projects, and every time we went out to look for a new hydrant, all you see is a little marker, and you had to shovel it out, and it was just taking too much time. It's a lot easier when when the snow's gone. But
Are we doing it, I'm sure, I would think we are, but are we doing it in such a way that we don't have 2 or 3 in a row that are bad?
that's what we're trying
We're
to do.
surrounded by
Yeah.
good ones. I'll make a motion, we authorize advertisement to bid for 20 fire hydrants.
Second that?
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Shackelford to authorize advertisement to bid for 20 fire hydrants. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item M, Mayor's appointment to Economic Development Corporation, EDC. I believe this is a vacancy from Jim Hust for an unexpired term. And his term will go to October 31st, 2014. We did have an applicant, and the applicant is Devin Kamolinski. I don't know, it's not that too bad, but I would like to make that appointment to that board.
I'll make a motion, we approve the mayor's appointment.
Second that?
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Shackelford to approve the mayor's appointment of Devin Kamolinski to the Economic Development Corporation Board. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item N, manager's appointment to the Ironwood Housing Commission.
There are 2 positions open in the Housing Commission. One position is a resident position, resident from the city of Ironwood, and the other position is actually a housing resident, someone that actually lives in the housing complex. So we did get applications. position for the, I'll call it at-large, or the City of Ironwood resident position. It was Gary Cruz's unfilled or unexpired term. I am recommending Guy Trier be appointed to that position. Guy has a CPA background and has a nice financial background that would be a real compliment to the operation over there. So that'd be my recommendation for that position. And then the housing resident position, right now, I'm looking to go and try to get additional applicants for that position. We have had a couple applicants. We'd like to try to gather a larger pool of applicants to take a look at for that position. For right now, I would not recommend filling the housing resident position at this time.
I'll make a motion, we approve the manager's suggested appointment to the Ironwood Housing Commission.
I second that.
Motion by Commissioner Segal, second by Commissioner Shackelford to approve the manager's appointment of Guy Trier to the Ironwood Housing Commission, term expiring.
He would be under Gary Cruz's unfilled term. That would be June 30th, 2014.
Expiring June 30th, 2013. Any further discussions?
2014.
2014, sorry.
Other than to say, I think we're really fortunate with the quality of people that are applying for these positions.
Given different background, getting a strong board, is great. Any further discussion concerns? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item O, manager's report.
Just a few items to go over. We'd like to recognize our Department of Public Works wastewater crew. Again, they received the signs over here. They were selected as wastewater utility of the year from Michigan Rural Water Association for a really nice recognition of the efforts that they've taken and that the city commission and city has taken on behalf of the overall wastewater system of the state. Bob, would you want to just touch base on what goes into selecting
Yeah,
community that gets this award?
The Michigan Rural Water, they recognized basically the commitment, maybe the last 10 years, the city of Ironwood has done with the wastewater crew. You guys as a commission, the residents, the improvements we put in the system. And one key number that Mark Bowman from the wastewater plant gave me was that 10 years ago, they were taking in 2.3 million gallons a day just from the city. And last year, they were taking in about 1.1 million gallons less. So, you know, you're not going to see the change overnight, but in a 10-year span, we're taking in more than 1 million gallons less by an eye. We still have a lot of improvements to go, but, you know, these are improvements we made in a 100-year-old system that is starting to show down there. And Michigan Rural Water recognized all the money that we put in for the water system and sewer system improvements. They did tell me that we're the first community in Michigan to win both the water and wastewater, which is a pretty big thrill. So really proud of that. But I mean, basically awards for everybody, you guys, residents, staff, a lot of work, Steve Coleman Engineering for their design.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Just a few more things going on. Just to update, last fall, the EPA came in to clean up the manufactured gas plant site on the Montreal River, did a cleanup over there. They'll come back in the spring, touch the site up a little bit if there's any erosion, anything that they need to do there. They have some freezer to plant, maybe final landscaping if they need to. See how things held up over the winter time. We did meet with them, last week. We also talked to them a little bit. We're kind of waiting for this ability to pay analysis to come out, basically say what is the city's financial exposure with the cleanup costs. They're still working on that. They expect that that's going to take them probably into the summer here at some point before they get a response back to us. So I guess we'll wait and see. Did talk to them about that through this budget process. We probably aren't going to have a number to work with, which means that we one more budget cycle before we have to address that issue. But I expect that later this summer we'll have more discussion with the EPA on that issue. Last, let's see. Tomorrow, a different topic, but the Depot Park project, that will be one of our more high-profile projects in the downtown area. Development of Depot Park, a real nice project, working with the trust fund, our trust fund grant on that. We are opening bids tomorrow on that project. So again, even with the snow on the ground, the project's moving forward. Let's see how bids come in. Hopefully they're very competitive. And then we'll hopefully have a contractor on board down the road to start as soon as the snow is gone and get that project done this year in a timely manner. So I'm hoping at the next meeting or so to bring back a recommendation to the city commission. It does have to be reviewed by our engineers and also by the DNR. The bids that do come in, we'll be back to the city commission for a recommendation. Hopefully at the next meeting, and not at the meeting after that. We'd like to recognize our Department of Public Works crews. Again, they're still in full snowplow mode. Unfortunately, with all the snow that came out over the weekend, did a really good job on cleanup. We have with this snow, the type of snow we had, it makes it very difficult for plowing. It's real heavy snow. We have frost coming out of the ground, so we can't put our big heavy equipment, on these roads. We'll just tear them right up. So they've been doing the best they can with the lighter equipment, going through neighborhoods and trying to keep them opened up. So again, they've been working very diligently on that, and hopefully that's, I won't say, we'll say, hopefully it's the last time we have to do that this year. Just a reminder, City Commission, well, we're meeting next Monday. This meeting was pushed back. We were down at the Michigan Municipal League Conference last week. Had a lot of really good contacts down there. A little bit of information that we were bringing back to the city. Mayor will have a little more detailed report on that. But just a reminder that we do have a meeting next Monday. Another regularly scheduled City Commission meeting. We are going to have a workshop again at 4:30 with that meeting. That workshop is going to be talking about potential charter amendments. So just so everybody's aware of that. And we're continuing to work on the 2013-14 budget. It's moving forward. We'll keep on working through that, and we have a number of series of meetings over the next few months to get that budget hammered out and in play for the next fiscal year. So that's the end of my report.
Item P, other matters. I just want to thank Rick and Moni and Coleman Engineering folks that went down to the Capitol Conference and touch base with our projects and grant people and just kind of keep it on top of those kind of folks who's done these projects. It's very beneficial to have some of the times that we do have down there. Also, thanks to public safety for helping out in Hurley. It's nice that we have two cities that can work together and help each other out in time of need. And I guess I just want to make a presentation to the city of Ironwood that we are Region 7 winner, which is the UP. When we were down at the Capitol Conference, we made a pitch for the Depot Park, and this is a competitive for Community Excellence Award. And we talked about the history, the trend of placemaking, the different grants that are involved, the trailheads that we will have. This is a motorized trailhead, a non-motorized trailhead. Brought up some of the history and just promoted the Depot project as a project of health, history, and recreation. So in September, we will head down to Detroit and make our best pitch, and hopefully we can bring this award back to Ironwood. So I'm going to thank everybody that's been involved with the Depot Park. A lot of people working together, trying to develop it and make it a nice gathering place for the community. It's going to tie us in with a few of the projects. One of the projects being two that the governor is very supportive of, the 599-mile trail that starts, and it starts in Ironwood. So I think it's going to be a good shot in arm for us. I would like to present this to the folks at the Memorial Building, everybody involved, and the city of Ironwood.
And the mayor did an outstanding job of making the presentation. It was really, really excellent. And as she said, it entitles us to go to the next level. Region 7 is basically the UP, and as a result of winning this award, we can now go for the statewide Community Excellence Award.
And that's all I have for other matters.
I was just wondering, where will those signs be?
Well, I'm going to put them on the same post as the water signs. So you have to slow down a little, 30 and do both of them in one shot.
And right now, on the east end of town and the west end of town, on US 2, we have the similar sign that identifies the water utility meter.
Your Broadway, and I got one by Florence and Wilson in that area.
Okay, so you can put it on the same post.
Yeah.
Q, citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda. A 5-minute limit, please, and if you are able, please approach the podium and state your name.
Just a quick question. Who are you going to set up a meeting, set up to be on the agenda for the Parks and Recreation Committee?
I'll meet with you at the meeting here, we get that set up.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure I got the right person for that.
Thank you for taking on that project. It's a good project. Anybody else?
Just have a few questions. Since you brought up the EPA project, do we have a report on the library practices for the site security there yet? You know, I brought that up last fall, and we kind of agreed to look into that. Okay. Who is the DPW supervisor currently?
The acting supervisor is Jason Allen.
Is that because someone's on vacation, or?
No, we have a previous DPW supervisor is on a 1-year leave of absence.
Okay. Just wondering when that was advertised and how the light officer got that job. I'm assuming it's pretty much either the city manager or the city clerk that pretty much controls the agenda for the meetings. And so, on behalf of the entire Parks and Rec committee, thank you so much for completely devaluing anything that we do, because I'm assuming it's from one of you two. It's pointless going before Parks and Rec about an actual park in the city. Anyway, last November I came here and I talked to you about a sidewalk that went missing on Ash Street in Norrie. It's part of the water and sewer project. It was done up as part of that, and it was not replaced. At that meeting, the representative from Pullman Engineering said that did not happen. And the city manager sat there and said that he would have to investigate whether it did, but it was not a sidewalk project. Well, since I haven't heard anything about it this entire winter, I did my own research, and I found out the reason was the city approached the property owners on that block and asked them if they would be willing to get rid of the sidewalk. It was their choice. A couple people chose to keep theirs. Several people chose to get rid of it because they were worried that in a year or two the city would approach them and make them pay half to repair any part of the sidewalk. It was not the best condition. So I have a few questions. One, why was I lied to last November? Because if you're going around talking to property owners, asking them, hey, can we get rid of the sidewalk in front of your house? I would expect your city manager to have known that without having to do any research, and I would expect the engineer from your engineering company to also have known that. Why were these property owners given a choice? Why wasn't the city commission informed? Why wasn't Parks and Recreation Committee informed? How can a few property owners control a public right-of-way? So can I limit who uses the sidewalk now in front of my house? Or can I just decide to rip it up? How does this impact safe routes to school? That's been one of the big things that the school's been advertising, and they're very involved with it, and here we're just getting rid of sidewalks. How does this impact property values, not only on that block, but in the neighborhood as a whole? And perhaps fundamentally here, why do you keep giving positive reviews to your city manager? Because, again, either didn't know what's going on in his own city, or he flat out sat here and lied to me, and he certainly isn't informing you of what's going on.
Your comments have been noted, Steve. Obviously, I'm not going to answer all your questions right now. I mean, if it's a concern of yours, maybe make an appointment to come in and talk.
No, I don't need to make an appointment. I've made allegations in front of this city commission. It is now up to you to investigate that. And if you don't choose to do that, then you're culpable with all of this that's going on. The sidewalk was dug up. I've shown you pictures of it. That can't be denied. Now, if possible, my source is lying to me. That doesn't change the fact that that sidewalk is no longer there. Now, I'm not making an appointment. I'm not talking to anybody. You either do your job as elected representatives of the citizens of this community, or you don't. But then you're derelict in your duty. You swore an oath of office. To me, this is completely illegal. You're equally culpable if you choose not to investigate. It's your choice.
Project's been noted, and I know we have through, I think, June before the project is actually finished. So I'm sure some of these little things that we brought to our attention and stuff, so. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, item R.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that.
Motion by Commissioner Stino, second by Commissioner Shackelford to adjourn this meeting. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you.